Medicine is a great field, but I am obviously biased. While I do love medicine, it is not something that I would recommend for everyone. It is very important that you are aware of the pros and cons and carefully decide if it is the right profession for you. Stay tuned to find out how. What's going on, guys? This is Jay from MedSchoolInsiders.com. Let's get started with the path to becoming a physician in the US. First, you complete 4 years of college. You can have any major, but must complete 2 years of prereqs, which are mostly science courses. For this reason, most students choose a life science major, but again, you can study anything from mechanical engineering to English to political science, etc. After college, you go to medical school, which is another 4 years. After medical school, you go to residency, which is at least 3 years but can be up to 7. Fellowship allows you to specialize further, which can be 1 or more years in addition to residency. Now, assuming you don't take any years off between all of that, you'll be around your late 20s or early 30s when you finally finish training. Lots of people do take time off though, so it is not uncommon to be a few years older than that. Now let's talk about the financial aspects of becoming a doctor. The average debt for a graduating medical student is currently at $180,000. In residency, you will make around $50,000 per year, so you will barely make a dent in your debt and interest will accrue. Your salary will rise after finishing training to a comfortable 6-figure income, but that varies depending on your specialty. Now that we understand the basic premise, let's talk about a few key deal breakers. Going into medicine for the money is not a good idea. While you will be making well into the 6 figures after finishing training, you will be significantly behind the curve due to debt and opportunity cost. If money is your main concern, look elsewhere. So to go a little bit more into the opportunity cost, if you started working after college and didn't have to take on the additional debt of medical school, where you are not earning any more money, you would very likely be in a much better financial situation. I'm not going to go into a detailed analysis in this video, but I am going to place some links in the description to pages I found that actually do break down the numbers for a physician and show you the impact of debt and opportunity cost on your lifetime wealth. Next, if you hate school and hate learning, again, look elsewhere. I'm not saying that you need to love every single subject or love the annoying parts of being a student, but if you don't enjoy science and don't enjoy learning about the human body, then a career in medicine is going to be significantly more challenging for you. A big part of being a physician is being a lifelong learner. This means you have to continually educate yourself even after finishing training to stay up to date with your treatments. Next, if you don't like working with people, I again urge you to look elsewhere. There are certain specialties that have limited contact with patients, such as radiology or pathology. However, you still need to regularly communicate with your colleagues. For example, in radiology, you'll be reading scans for surgeons, emergency physicians, hospitalists, etc. And in pathology, you also still need to communicate with your colleagues. So now I've told you a few things that are deal breakers, reasons that you should not go into medicine. It's much more difficult to tell you the reasons that you should go into medicine because those reasons vary wildly from person to person. One thing I commonly hear from pre-meds and med students is the desire to help people. That's a noble cause and I fully support it. I think it should almost be a requirement to pursue a career as a physician. But at the same time, it is not enough. You can help people in a variety of professions. Why not be a nurse instead? Firefighters help people, so do paramedics, etc. So there needs to be something else there that draws you to this profession. There are additional qualities of a physician that you should be aware of. First, they are leaders of the healthcare team. You don't have to already be a leader because it is a skill that you can develop, but ask yourself honestly, is this something that appeals to me? Second, being a physician is a very intellectually challenging profession. Do you have an inquisitive mind? Do you like problem solving? Or would you rather follow protocols and not have to think too hard? Next, do you like working with your hands? Now, there is a broad range of specialties. Some have little or no procedures like psychiatry, and others are very heavy on procedures like orthopedic surgery. Are you a hard worker? This is one of the most important factors to being successful as a physician. I believe that most soon-to-be physicians, current physicians, and most of even the public believe that physicians are much smarter than they really are. While you definitely do need to be smart to be a doctor, it is much more important that you are a hard worker. Diligence, discipline, and persistence will overpower smarts. I have a friend who went to a top college and was known for being a genius. He never studied, often fell asleep in class, and still crushed all of his tests. He went to college and did more of the same. But when he went to medical school, he really struggled. From being in the top couple percent of his class, he was now in the lower third. And it is because he never developed the proper study skills and habits. You see, the medical profession requires some critical thinking and understanding of complex concepts, but it is mostly memorizing vast quantities of information. That's why hard work trumps intelligence. One of the most important things you do before either deciding on medicine or starting medical school is to shadow. Don't just shadow one doctor either. Check out different specialties and in different settings. Learn what it means to be a primary care physician out in the community clinic. Check out the operating room at the academic center. Get some exposure to inpatient medicine in the hospital. Medicine is an incredibly diverse field, and you will likely gravitate towards only a few select specialties that are suited to your personality and interests. Before starting medical school, I was in love with the idea of being a gastroenterologist, motivated by a family history of GI illnesses. I thought it would be a great fit because I love nutrition, the science behind it. I wanted continuity with my patients, meaning where you can build a relationship with them over time. And I've always found satisfaction from working with my hands, and gastroenterology has a lot of procedures you can do. But once I actually got to medical school and got exposure to GI in my second year, I realized that it was not the field for me. While I do love procedures, I didn't find the type of procedures in GI particularly stimulating or challenging. And while I did love learning about certain diseases and pathologies within that field, there was a lot of it that also didn't really excite me. So luckily, after gaining exposure to multiple specialties, I found a surgical subspecialty that is a perfect fit for my personality and my interests. And I consider myself very lucky for finding something that was such a good fit. But in hindsight, I wish that I would have started shadowing and getting exposure before medical school started. I did do volunteer research in the emergency department, I did work with some neurologists, and I even did a little bit of basic science research, but that only gave me a tiny glimpse of the medical field and what it means to be a physician. So knowing your areas of interest sooner than later will only help you in the long run. At the same time, I don't think that you need to feel any pressure to decide on a specialty early, but be sure you gain exposure and understand the different parts of medicine so that you have some degree of orientation going into it. So leave a comment below on why you love medicine and what helped you make that decision. That is it for this video, guys. If you liked the video, make sure you press that like button. New videos every week, so hit subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in that next one.